Welcome to WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I am your presenter, Jessica Klein. First on the local scene. The challenges and responses to agricultural development in the Caribbean Forum took place on April 25th and 26th, 2024 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The forum was co-organized by the International Cooperation Development Fund in Taiwan and the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The forum welcomed high-ranking officials, representatives, and experts from regional countries, international organizations, and the Taiwan technical missions in Latin America and the Caribbean region. This was the first agricultural forum jointly hosted by Taiwan and St. Vincent and the Grenadines to address challenges and transformation in the Caribbean region. Participants included stakeholders from various countries and organizations such as St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CADI, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, Food for the Poor, FFTP, World University Service of Canada, WUSC, WUSC Caribbean, Caribbean Cooperative, MRVHUB, and the Rose Foundation. The opening ceremony was co-hosted by Ambassador Dr. Charles Lee, Secretary General from the International Cooperation and Development Fund in Taiwan, and Sabato Caesar, Minister of Agriculture, to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over 100 officials, experts, and representatives attended the forum, facilitating valuable exchanges and capacity building for the Caribbean region. Deputy Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel highlighted the significant benefits derived from the strong ties with the Republic of China on Taiwan during a ceremony at the Biotechnology Center in Orange Hill. Minister Daniel emphasized Taiwan's pivotal role in the local agriculture sector's progress over the last 40 years, including aiding in achieving self-sufficiency in the pork production and paving the way for pork exports from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He stressed the importance of collaborative efforts among research organizations to tackle challenges like pests and diseases. Chief Agriculture Officer Renato Gomes expressed gratitude for Taiwan's support in banana production, which has yielded positive results. Gomes lauded the Biotechnology Center in Orange Hill for housing the leading tissue culture lab in the region, exporting planting materials widely. Dr. Chao Cheng Li, the Secretary General of Taiwan ICDF, highlighted Taiwan's commitment to sharing knowledge and technology to revolutionize the agricultural sector. The collaboration at Orange Hill exemplifies the success achievable through bilateral cooperation. The unveiling ceremony is part of the challenges and responses to agriculture development in the Caribbean project, following a forum discussing the future of agriculture in the region. Still on the local scene, the National Workers' Movement, NWM, has carefully considered and decided that challenging the dismissal of workers at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Port Authority, SVGPA, would not be in the union's best interests. The incident on March 5th, 2024, involving 5 workers from the Camden Park container port, was initially reported by a local media outlet last week. These workers were found dismantling a pallet and taking various items, including chainsaws, weed whackers, pot sets, microwaves, air fryers, and other household items without authorization. The pallet had been stored in the shed for over 2 years, and the workers were instructed to dismantle it for auctioning the items. One of the 5 workers is represented by the NWM, and the General Secretary, Noel Jackson, mentioned that the union was consulted for advice but decided not to advocate for them to maintain the union's integrity. Footage from the inside of the shed provided substantial evidence against the workers. It depicted them dismantling the pallet, moving the items to the supervisor's office, loading them into private vehicles, and transporting them off the port's premises. The port management terminated the service of five employees, including a supervisor, on April 19, 2024, based on their actions, which were deemed a severe violation of the SVG Port Authority's Code of Discipline. The dismissal letter outlined the workers' misconduct, including dishonesty, unauthorized removal of company property, failure to adhere to rules, corrupt practices, and making false statements. On the regional scene, a 40-year-old Mason has been sentenced to life in prison with a mandatory minimum of 18 years before he can be considered for parole in Guyana, following his guilty confession of raping a 9-year-old girl in July 2022. Orland Roberts' criminal deed was denounced by Demerara High Court Judge Sandil Kusun during the imposition of the sentence on Thursday. The case against Roberts was that on July 4th, 2022, while he was at the child's residence, he sexually penetrated her while she was asleep. Both the victim, who awoke during the assault, and her younger sister, witness to the act, gave testimony regarding Roberts' behavior. Justice Kusun pointed out that in addition to murder and treason, rape is regarded as a terrible crime. Highlighting the evidence, the judge said that Roberts attacked the young girl while she was asleep and continued his nasty actions for gratification even after she awoke. Regarding medical examinations performed on the young girl, he said that it left no doubt in the mind what the child had been through. The convicted rapist, during the sentencing hearing, made a sincere request for forgiveness, causing a complex range of emotions for those in the courtroom. He stood in front of the judge and apologized profusely for the anguish and suffering he had brought onto the victim and her loved ones. However, Justice Kusun said that Roberts deserved a harsh and severe sentence in light of the circumstances, and as a result, he imposed the maximum punishment for rape, which is life in prison. Still on the regional scene, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley has reiterated her call for Cricket West Indies to equally support the reward female cricketers as they do for male cricketers. During the CARICOM conference in Trinidad and Tobago, Mottley emphasized the importance of investing in women's cricket and addressing gender disparities in the sport. She expressed her pride in seeing both boys and girls be recognized as future global citizens with Caribbean heritage. Motley highlighted the achievements of Hayley Matthews, named Wisden's T20 Cricketer of the Year, and urged for more equitable treatment between men's and women's cricket. Motley also advocated for improving the quality of coverage and representation of women's cricket to enhance its appeal. She suggested the idea of organizing a groundbreaking mixed gender cricket match in the region to promote inclusivity. Additionally, the Prime Minister emphasized the need to provide opportunities not only for male and female cricketers, but also for individuals with diverse skills and talents. Finally, on the international scene, a baby named Sabrim al-Sakani, who was rescued from her mother's womb during an Israeli airstrike in southern Gaza, has tragically passed away, as reported by the BBC. Sabrim was born via cesarean section at a Rafah hospital in the early hours of Sunday. Despite doctors' efforts to resuscitate her using a hand pump to aid her breathing, she sadly passed away on Thursday. Sabrin was laid to rest beside her mother, after whom she was named. Among the victims of the two airstrikes in Rafah over the weekend, Sabrin was one of 16 children who lost their lives in the attack on the residential area they called home. The Israel Defense Forces (IDF) said that they were targeting Hamas fighters and infrastructure. Sabrin's mother, who shares the same name, was 7.5 months pregnant when the Israeli airstrike hit the Al-Sakani family home shortly before midnight on a Saturday, while she, her husband, and their 3-year-old daughter Malak were asleep. Sabrine was rushed to the hospital and doctors conducted an emergency cesarean section to deliver the baby. Following the procedure, Sabrine's condition stabilized and she was placed in an incubator. The doctors classified her condition as critical due to her premature birth with a weight of only 1.4 kilograms, causing severe respiratory distress. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Jessica Klein. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. for WeFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.